Good evening. Our top stories tonight: Elijah Moore is probably already on a jet plane to the Cleveland Browns. Elijah Moore traded to Cleveland, former New York Jet. Aaron Rodgers has one less weapon when he arrives, but Jets replace him with Mecole Hardman. I think the Browns win, all things considered, but both sides add a weapon. We've got all that and much, much more on Player Profiler today. So we had a groundbreaking trade. And I say groundbreaking, casual fans, they won't care as much. But for us, the true fans who really understand what's going on, we know that this is a big deal. Because a lot of people, a lot of the casuals, they've already written off Elijah Moore. Oh, well, that guy that got benched, the guy that couldn't beat out Corey Davis and wanted a trade and threw a temper tantrum and got benched by the Jets, him? Why should I care about him? Oh, that's where you're wrong. Elijah Moore is a supreme talent in the NFL. We know he is a quality wide receiver. We know that he has fantastic speed, great agility, just all of it. And so when he was given a chance with Mike White for a couple weeks, he succeeded. He had a couple of big plays. He wasn't able to put together a full game, a full PPR monster game, but Elijah Moore made a difference on the field for the New York Jets. And that's exactly what he will do for the Cleveland Browns. He will instantly step into that slot receiver position, the one that, I'm sorry to all the David Bell truthers out there, all of those people championing, well, David Bell, wide receiver 3 of the Cleveland Browns. It's over. It's over. He's still wide receiver 4, 5, could be behind Mike Woods, but he's still going to be on the roster. So it's fine, just not a starter. Instead, it'll be Elijah Moore in the slot. Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore, they'll swap in and out. Amari Cooper, he's a Z, he's a flanker, so sometimes those players play in the slot as well. And Elijah Moore can win outside too. We've seen that. We saw the crazy thing about Elijah Moore is he was winning in the slot as a wide receiver at Ole Miss. And then, much like the slot receiver before Elijah Moore, A.J. Brown, he goes to the NFL and just starts dominating on the outside. Elijah Moore becomes a winner, just a winner at running routes on the outside, gaining separation. So Elijah Moore, he's shown the talent in college and in the NFL. He's shown that he can succeed in the slot. He can succeed outside. I'll have to wait until we get Billy's rankings updated. But Elijah Moore, he's probably behind Donovan Peoples-Jones, but I can't imagine that much. So at this point, the Cleveland Browns, they have really built a strong roster. They have. There's no denying that. They only give up pick 42 to the New York Jets, and they still get pick 74 back in return. So the Jets, while they don't have a first-round pick because of the Deshaun Watson trade, while they don't have a second-round pick now because of this Elijah Moore trade, they have 8 picks starting in the third round. So the Jets are fine. They're going to be adding talent. It'll be deeper in the draft, but this is a win for Andrew Berry. He is a quality GM when allowed to make moves himself. We all know that the Deshaun Watson trade, that was not Andrew Berry's decision. But when he's allowed to run the team, he's doing well. Because we know that the Browns were in on Jerry Jeudy, but the Broncos, they wanted a first rounder for Jerry Jeudy. Kudos to Andrew Berry to say, get out of here. GTFO, no. We're not giving you a first round pick for Jerry Jeudy when we can get Elijah Moore and we have to move back only 32 slots. Much preferable. So now, Donovan Peoples-Jones, he is the X wide receiver. He's going to be on the line of scrimmage facing press coverage. Amari Cooper is the wide receiver 1 as that Z. He'll be off the line of scrimmage getting those free releases. And we know Amari Cooper struggles when against cornerback ones. He struggles with that physicality. There was the outside game myth for Amari Cooper that he sucks when he plays outside. No, he just sucks when he faces dominant cornerbacks. Those games just happened to come outside. It wasn't the fresh air that made Amari Cooper crumble. It was the dominant coverage. So now you get Elijah Moore, someone else that can capitalize when Amari Cooper is unable to beat those true cornerback ones. Got in David Njoku. This is a quality roster, and it's deep at wide receiver. Mike Woods, he's backing up Donovan Peoples-Jones. We love Mike Woods here at Player Profiler. Cody Carpentier, a big fan. They've got David Bell, who is a truther for many, third-round pick out of Purdue. In the slot, he's backing up Elijah Moore. And we've still got Anthony Schwartz able to stretch the field for the Browns. Demetric Felton, kind of a running back. I have to imagine that Browns probably keep 6 receivers. So that 6 spot goes to either Anthony Schwartz or Demetric Felton. Maybe they keep 7, and maybe Demetric Felton goes back to being a part-time running back because Dearness Johnson, former Cleveland Browns running back, he signed with the Jaguars today. He's going to be backing up Travis Etienne, going to be backing up JaMycal Hasty, competing for those big back touches that Snoop Conner never seemed to get. Interesting move, but the Browns, that frees up Jerome Ford even more. Kareem Hunt still a free agent. Jerome Ford, RB2 as it stands for the Cleveland Browns, but Nick Chubb's showing no signs of slowing down. And this offensive line is still dominant for the Cleveland Browns. Left tackle Jedrick Wills, he's probably the weak spot, and he is a damn talented player out of Alabama. So Jedrick Wills in center, that's kind of the 2 question marks for the Browns. But at center, they get Nick Harris back, who was supposed to be their center from day 1 last year. Or they could just continue to roll with Ethan Pochik, who re-signed with the Cleveland Browns. He's back. They're going to have an open competition at center, and that is a good thing because both of these players are NFL caliber starters. And then you have arguably the best 2 guards in the NFL, or at least the best guard pairing in left guard Joel Bitonio and right guard Wyatt Teller. Jack Conklin, your right tackle, he's been a Pro Bowler. He just signed a new contract. Dominant offensive line for the Cleveland Browns. Upgraded skill positions. It all falls on Deshaun Watson at this point. Can Deshaun Watson come out of whatever tailspin he was in for the Browns last year? Can Deshaun Watson start throwing touchdown passes? I mean, you all know how I feel about Deshaun Watson. We're not rooting for the success of the Cleveland Browns, but I have to be honest as a journalist. This is a talented team. Deshaun Watson just might be the only thing holding them back. But what about the Jets? Where do the Jets go from here? Because they get rid of Elijah Moore. They now have the 42nd overall pick, which was formerly the Browns, and they have their own pick at 43. So the Jets, they're picking back-to-back right now. We all know they're probably not going to be picking back-to-back when all is said and done. Aaron Rodgers, they'll trade one of those second-round picks and more to land Aaron Rodgers, more than likely. But when you think about this from Joe Douglas, the Jets general manager's perspective, this was a win too. You move up in the draft, so you make sure that even if you give up that second rounder, you still have a second. Elijah Moore needed a fresh start. He needed one. He deserved a chance to be free. The Jets had to see that. The Jets had to know, okay, well, we're bringing in Mecole Hardman now. We've got Allen Lazard. This guy, he's fallen out of our plans, and you know what? We don't want to be that team that holds a good man back. You never want to hold a good person, good player, good worker back. And the Jets aren't doing that. So, oh, geez, Louise, miss. The cat is happy that I'm back from my vacation. Well, not vacation. It was not a vacation at all. It was a work trip. But cat is happy that I am back. A lot of driving. But we are here. We are recording. And I'm happy to be back. Tomorrow, I will be live. I do have a meeting tonight. But don't worry. You'll see me live. You'll be able to ask me any and all questions that you have. But just one more day until you see me live. But still, without fail, 7 days a week at 7 p.m. Eastern. You can catch Player Profiler Today with Jack Cavanagh. And if you want all of the goodies that we have here at Player Profiler, you can sign up for the all-in package. And with the all-in package, you get everything that I have access to. So you get the rankings, which are going to be changing by the day. They might have already been updated by now with this Elijah Moore trade. I'm not sure, but I can tell you they'll be updated tomorrow. I can tell you that they will be current with all of these transactions. That's the beauty of Player Profiler. You're not waiting days, weeks, months for these dynasty rankings to update. No, you are getting live, real-time action thanks to Billy Muzio, thanks to Theo Greminger, thanks to Dario Offstein, thanks to all of these talented analysts at Player Profiler. So sign up for the all-in package now. Use promo code Jack when you sign up for $10 off, $180 value for $120. You can't beat it. You truly can't beat it with all the information you get with Player Profiler. You'll have everything that I've got access to. I just love that commercial so much. What a fantastic commercial. But back to the Jets. So this is a good decision by Joe Douglas. This is a decision that he had to unfortunately make. Just the bridges were burned with Elijah Moore. You've replaced him multiple times. You've replaced him with Allen Lazard. You've replaced him with Mecole Hardman. You got to do the right thing and free him. And so now the Jets do sign Mecole Hardman. He is the replacement for Elijah Moore. He can make up to $6.5 million. We know they have Allen Lazard making $11 million. And they've got Garrett Wilson, still the wide receiver one. He's 2 years away from getting paid. So Jets have time before they have to pay Garrett Wilson, but he is going to command a pretty penny when all is said and done. But for now, it's an interesting lineup. Garrett Wilson, he's the Z receiver. He's lining up off the line of scrimmage. He's mixing in the slot. Garrett Wilson moving all over the field, and he's damn good at it. At X, I expect it's probably going to be Allen Lazard when the season opens. But I also don't know because Allen Lazard could end up being the slot. Corey Davis, he's not a slot. Not at all. Corey Davis is an outside X receiver. Denzel Mims is an outside X receiver. These are just guys, they're clashers on the line of scrimmage. They are just not slot receivers. Allen Lazard looks like an X, but we've seen during his time in Green Bay, he can play in the slot. Packers liked him in the slot as well because he's the size of a tight end practically, 6'4", 220 plus pounds, and his blocking ability helped the run game as another tight end essentially. So we might see Allen Lazard in the slot. We might see Corey Davis traded to the Green Bay Packers. Denzel Mims could then become the X receiver and keep Allen Lazard in the slot. Regardless, they need another receiver here for the Jets. They got to get someone else because right now it's Corey Davis and Denzel Mims. It's Allen Lazard and it's Garrett Wilson. And that's it. Your depth, your wide receiver 5 is either Deontay Spencer, Malik Taylor, or Irvin Charles. So you got to add another receiver. And that other receiver might actually be Odell Beckham. At least we're hearing that's what Aaron Rodgers is pushing for. And we've heard that for a while now, but we're hearing again, yes, Aaron Rodgers and Odell have talked about playing for the New York Jets together. And I imagine this is something they've talked about for a while, but it's becoming more of a reality because Odell Beckham has woken up to his value. Odell Beckham has realized, okay, I'm not getting $15 million per year. I know I asked for that. It's not happening. I gotta prove it. I'm not playing for $4 million. I need more than that, but I'll take a discount. And with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback of the New York Jets, I won't be surprised to see Odell take that discount, return to New York, play with Aaron Rodgers, take a pay cut, knowing, hey, if there's anywhere I'm going to rehab my value, it's with Aaron Rodgers. It's in New York. It's under the bright lights shining on me. So Odell Beckham, I think he's going to be a New York Jet with Aaron Rodgers. They also have Tyler Conklin and CJ Uzomah. They have Breece Hall at running back when he returns. Bam Knight and Michael Carter will fill in the meantime. So this is, again, much like the Cleveland Browns, this is a strong offense. They've got to figure out some depth at wide receiver. But Garrett Wilson is the best wide receiver on either team. I would probably rather have Allen Lazard than Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think Elijah Moore is better than Corey Davis, but Jets clearly don't. And Browns win at tight end. But at offensive line, Browns win. Jets aren't bad either. Jets are not bad. Left tackle is either going to be Dwayne Brown, who was their starter last year, or it could be Mekhi Becton. Mekhi Becton, former first-round pick for the Jets. He is still competing. He looks healthy this year. He looks like he is in damn good shape. Excited to see him return to the field. Maybe he's competing for left tackle finally. Maybe he is competing for right tackle with Max Mitchell, last year's 4th-round pick, who played pretty well when given a chance to start due to injuries. And then Laken Tomlinson, a quality Pro Bowl guard that they signed from the 49ers last year. He's back. Elijah Vera Tucker at right guard. He's coming off the ACL tear, which isn't great, but AVT is an all-pro caliber guard. This is in competition, if AVT is healthy, with the Browns for one of the best guard duos in the NFL. They just got to figure out center because right now it's Tristan Colon-Castillo, former Baltimore Ravens practice squad guy, kind of hung around the active roster sometimes, spent a lot of time on the practice squad, or it's Wes Schweitzer, who they signed from the Washington Commanders, center/guard for the Commanders. He was more of a backup. He's kind of the perfect backup. He can play center. He can play both guard positions. He is what they had last year in Nate Herbig. So I have to imagine Schweitzer is the backup at center and guard. They sign or draft a center for the Jets, and then when Elijah Vera Tucker comes back, they are ready to maul people in the run game. This Jets team, this Browns team, it's going to be good for both of them. Got to wait and see what happens. We got to see what the Jets have to give up for Aaron Rodgers, but I'm just excited for the NFL season. I'm excited when these moves are made. I'm excited to see Elijah Moore freed. I'm excited to see the hype that builds around Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson and Odell Beckham in New York. I love this kind of stuff. I love the hype. And I love the hype around Ohio State's Pro Day today. 14 members of the Carolina Panthers go out, fly to Ohio State, go to Columbus, and watch CJ Stroud throw. Now, of course, there's a chance that they just really, really wanted to see Jackson Smith-Njigba run the 40. But no, we know that the Panthers love CJ Stroud. We know they've loved him for a while. Now, Thomas Davis, he goes on ESPN, I believe it was, and says, maybe it was NFL Network. Regardless, Thomas Davis goes out there, former linebacker, all-pro Carolina Panthers franchise legend, goes on the network and says, I think that the Panthers are going to draft Anthony Richardson. I don't like it. I wouldn't do it. But there are people in Carolina that absolutely love the raw physical ability of Anthony Richardson. And I watch this and I think, that's a smokescreen. No one's telling Thomas Davis what they're doing at quarterback. The Panthers, when it was Matt Rule, they had leaks everywhere. We knew every move the Panthers were going to make before they made it. But now, with Frank Reich in charge, no leaks. This ship has been completely sealed up. No leaks coming out. Now, we'll pretend, and maybe we're not pretending. Maybe the Panthers really don't know who they're taking at quarterback. Maybe we're overreading the Josh McCown talking about CJ Stroud. Maybe we're overreading the 14 members of the Panthers attending the Pro Day today, but I'll say it again. CJ Stroud's going to be a Carolina Panther, and I can't wait. Maybe he gets DJ Chark. Maybe DJ Chark returns to the Lions. Has Adam Thielen as his wide receiver one. They got to get talent around CJ Stroud, but it's going to happen. It is going to happen. And speaking of talent around CJ Stroud, Jackson Smith-Njigba, he goes out there and he runs a 4.53 unofficial 40. And if that's the case, if Jackson Smith-Njigba is officially on his pro day with a 4.53, we will add 0.05 as Player Profiler does. Jackson Smith-Njigba now a 4.58 40-yard dash. Perfect. No issue with that. None in the slightest. That's faster than Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's still elite agility, and it's fast enough. Cracking 4.6, great. Check that box. Jackson Smith-Njigba, he's got NFL speed. He is worth the 102. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jackson Smith-Njigba, I think it's pick your poison at this point, either or. It depends on what your roster needs. In Superflex, it's different. You're taking Anthony Richardson at 2, but in a 1 QB league, the 102 just got a little bit spicier. You get your choice. Jahmyr Gibbs, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Jackson Smith-Njigba was, and will remain the wide receiver one in this class. But the wide receiver one for next year, we already know who that is. We already know that Marvin Harrison Jr. is the wide receiver one in the NFL draft next year. It's going to happen. The guy is massive. I believe he's listed at 6'4". The guy runs incredible routes, the agility, the speed, the craftiness, ball running routes. Just Marvin Harrison Jr. has it all. He might be a 102 overall type player like Calvin Johnson. I'm not comparing them at play styles and all that, but in terms of, yeah, we're drafting a wide receiver at 102. I could see it. I could absolutely see it with Marvin Harrison Jr. The guy is incredible. And when scouts were asked, what was it like watching Marvin Harrison Jr. on the field today, running routes with CJ Stroud, helping him out, helping elevate his stock? And the answer was, kind of feels like going to a Lamborghini dealership and looking for next year's model that hasn't been released yet. It's tantalizing. You're drooling. You're so excited about the potential of Marvin Harrison Jr., but you got to wait. And that sucks. I really wish that the NFL would make it so, okay, if 10 teams, 15 teams sign off on, yes, Marvin Harrison Jr., we would like to draft you, you can come to the NFL draft. Same with Andrew Luck, those types of players. Ezekiel Elliott coming out of Ohio State. If we can make something happen where, yeah, you did your first year of college and you were a man amongst children, you can come to the NFL. There's got to be barriers. There's got to be regulatory factors to make sure that it's just not kids who are not prepared for the NFL, kids who are not going to get drafted. Can't allow them to enter the NFL before their third year. But for Jackson Smith and Jigba, less so him. He could have after his second year, though. But for Marvin Harrison Jr., for Andrew Luck, for Ezekiel Elliott, for Saquon Barkley, for those types of prospects, we got to find a way to get them in the NFL earlier. We got to maximize the NFL career of these young men, especially the Ohio State players, just dominant, pure dominant. Looking at some of the other news around the NFL, just the transaction wire, things that are happening. DeAndre Hopkins, the trade continues to gain steam that DeAndre Hopkins will be traded. The Cleveland Browns, obviously not trading for DeAndre Hopkins, obviously not trading for Jerry Jeudy, but Jerry Jeudy, DeAndre Hopkins, they are still up for grabs. DeAndre Hopkins sounds like it's going to be a little bit cheaper to get him. A second round plus is what the Cardinals want, whereas the Broncos want a first round plus for Jerry Jeudy. Going to be interesting to see where. The Patriots are pretty desperate at wide receiver. They really want DeAndre Hopkins, but they also don't want to give up Devontae Parker or Kendrick Bourne in the trade. I think you got to do it, Bill. I think you got to cave and give up whatever you need to get DeAndre Hopkins, because Mac Jones has not been given a fair shake. Mac Jones has been set up to fail by Matt Patricia, by not having a offensive coordinator, by having a lackluster skill position group. Get rid of his wide receiver one in Jacoby Myers. Go get him an actual alpha in DeAndre Hopkins. Raiders had another tight end. They're looking to replace Darren Waller. It's easier to replace Jacoby Myers than Darren Waller. Let's be honest. Jacoby Myers, great slot receiver, but Juju Smith-Schuster can do a lot of the same stuff. DeAndre Hopkins, that would be an upgrade. But to get a tight end better than Darren Waller, that's not overly likely. That doesn't happen too often. Darren Waller still a top 5 tight end in the NFL. And it looks like the Raiders, they're going out and replacing him with Austin Hooper and OJ Howard. 1 year, $2.75 million, up to $3.5 million for Austin Hooper. OJ Howard, we talked about yesterday, he signed his contract. I don't know what this Raiders plan is. I truly don't. I don't know what the direction of the Las Vegas Raiders is. And it makes me sad because the NFL is just so much better when the Raiders are good. Maybe they surprise me. Maybe they trade up to 3. Maybe they draft Anthony Richardson, do the right thing. But for now, Raiders are just treading water, trying not to drown. Sad. You hate to see it. You absolutely hate to see it. You hate to see that Jonah Williams may be on the way out with the Cincinnati Bengals. Teams are calling to trade for the former first-round tackle, 10th overall pick a couple years ago in 2019. Now, Jonah Williams, the Bengals would prefer he play right tackle. The Bengals want to move Jonah Williams from left to right. They'll have Orlando Brown step in at right tackle, and the offensive line's better. If they have to trade Jonah Williams, they get La'el Collins back from injury at some point during the season, which is good. But until then, you're starting Cody Ford, unless you get someone else. So maybe I'm surprised by a trade. Maybe some team offers enough where the Bengals can't say no. But the downgrade at right tackle is just not worth it currently for the Cincinnati Bengals to give up Jonah Williams. Now, that could be sweetened as the draft happens. This is a deep draft at offensive tackle. So maybe the Bengals decide, hey, we can get someone that we like with whatever pick you gave us in the second round. Or when teams miss out on that upper echelon of tackle, they come calling for the Cincinnati Bengals up the ante for Jonah Williams, and we see a draft day trade. Lots of moving pieces, lots of news around the league, lots of backdoor dealings, including Jalen Mills. Jalen Mills returns to the New England Patriots. can now earn over $6 million with the Patriots, which would be a bump in pay potentially for Jalen Mills, but it's a lower cap number because it's all incentives. So Jalen Mills back with the New England Patriots, probably going to be playing safety now, though. They need a replacement for Devin McCourty. Now, they do have, why do I want to? It's not Patrick Chung. He's been long gone from the New England Patriots. They have Kyle Duggar. And the Chargers safety. Jeez, what is with me right now? Anyways, they've got 2 safeties, but they need a third because the former Charger safety that's name escapes me and Kyle Duggar, they're more box safeties. Jalen Mills can play that free safety position, convert from safety to corner, back to safety, fill in for Devin McCourty, and they've got the Joneses at corner, Jack Jones, Marcus Jones, Jonathan Jones, all back for the New England Patriots. So the Patriots, while they got to add DeAndre Hopkins, while they need to improve the offense still, defense, they're making some moves there. They'll be all right. And speaking of making some moves, we've got Bobby McCain to the New York Giants, former Washington Commanders safety. We've got David Long to the Las Vegas Raiders, former Los Angeles Rams cornerback. The Cowboys signed 2 edge rushers. They bring back Dante Fowler, who didn't have the best first year with the Dallas Cowboys, was injured, not overly productive, but he's back with the Cowboys. Tack McKinley signs with the Dallas Cowboys, former first-round pick for the Atlanta Falcons. So Cowboys just adding depth, adding pieces to that pass rush, continuing to build on an already dominant defense. The Texans are following their pattern of adding back of the roster guys. Denzel Perriman, he's a legit player. But Corey Littleton, linebacker, it's like the 40th best player on the Panthers last year. Great, classic Texans move. Denzel Perriman probably does start for them, but the Texans just love to add linebackers that aren't going to play. Like Jalen Reeves-Maybin. That's what this Corey Littleton signing screams to me, is Jalen Reeves-Maybin. It's a guy that some people like that's just not going to play for us at all. But we're going to sign him anyways because we can't have too many linebackers. Anyways, that will bring us to our final story, which is Russell Wilson. Yes, that's right. Mr. Unlimited was actually quite limited for the past couple of years. Russell Wilson dealing with a right knee injury for a couple seasons now at this point. We don't know how long. We don't know fully what the knee injury was, but we know that he got a scope. They call it arthroscopic surgery. It's a scope, probably a meniscus, probably a cleanup in that knee. And it's not going to hurt Russ. It's not going to hurt Russ to be feeling better, to be moving around back there without pain, without clicking, without catching, without all of those annoying things that come with knee injuries. So the right knee gets cleaned out. Russell Wilson gets an offseason with Sean Payton to clear out all of the drama, all of the diva, all of the me first, all of the this is Russell Wilson's team. I'm just hoping beyond hope that Russell Wilson still has it. The NFL was better when Russell Wilson wasn't just a punchline. The NFL was better when Russell Wilson was that guy. How has Russell Wilson never won an MVP? Because that was the conversation before this year. Russell Wilson, he's never won an MVP. He's never even got an MVP vote. Well, that seems ridiculous. It's Russell Wilson. He's Russell Wilson. He's a great quarterback. I miss those days, and I hope we're back to them soon.